I'm Juliet from Spoiled Rotten Beads, and today I'm going to show you how to make these beautiful Kumihimo pip bracelets in the new spring colours that have just arrived in store. It's available as a kit in two colourways: Wisteria, the lovely blue one that I'm holding here, and the one that I'm going to show you how to make today is called Watermelon. So when you get your kit, you'll find you have 4 different colours of Preciosa pip beads. You'll have 60 of each colourway. You'll have a clasp, and you'll also have some Superlon bead cord. Additional items that you're going to need as well as the kit are a Kumihimo disc, some Zap gel glue, 8 no tangle bobbins, and also a Kumihimo weight. If you haven't got a Kumihimo weight at home, you can also use a fishing weight, or a bag of a bunch of keys, or a bag of marbles, anything heavy really that's going to hold your braid in place. So when you get your kit, you'll need to take your threads and you'll need to cut them into 8 equal lengths and set up your Kumihimo disc like I have done here. So you'll have 1 thread either side of the 4 dots around the disc, and you'll have all of your threads attached to a weight, Kumihimo weight or a fishing weight like I've got here, that's hanging from the center of your Kumihimo disc. And then what you need to do is you need to start threading the beads onto the threads. It doesn't really matter which color you start with, but what you're going to do is alternate the colors all around the disc and putting just 30 beads onto each strand. So I am going to start off with this lovely plum colour here, and you just want to start threading your beads on, making sure that you add 30 onto each strand. And when I've got 30 onto this strand here, I am going to move on to the next colour, and then the next colour, and the next colour, and so on, and then I'll repeat that pattern for the other 4 holes on the or the other 4 cords on the disc. And if you found, like I have here, that your thread starts to fray and it becomes difficult to thread your beads onto the bead cord, you can just trim off the end a little bit, just a tiny bit, and you should find that you're able to thread them all again. So I shall come back to you in a moment when I've threaded all of my beads on. As you thread your beads on, once you've got 30 beads on each strand, what you need to do is you need to attach each strand to one of these handy little no tangle bobbins here. You see I'm wrapping the thread onto the bobbin, and then when it's nice and secure, I'm going to drop the beads into the bobbin and wrap it up a bit and snap it closed. And once you've added all your beads, your disc will look like this. You'll have all 8 bobbins there hanging underneath the disc with your beads attached to them. And what you need to do is do a little bit of braiding now without any beads, and that's so that we've got some cord here, some Kumihimo braid that we can then glue into the clasp at the end. So I'm going to do about 1.5 centimeters of braiding without any beads. Your Kumihimo disc comes with a set of instructions to do a simple 8-warp braid, which is what we're going to be doing today. But essentially all you do is you take the bottom left cord and move it up to the top left, and then the top right cord and move it down to the next space on the bottom right, and then you turn your disc. So it's bottom left to top right to the next available space on the bottom right, like so. And you just keep going like that, always turning the disc in the same direction, and you'll find pretty quickly that you get a nice braid starting to appear out of the center here. So I'm just going to continue braiding now until I've got 1.5 centimeters of braid without any beads, and then I'll show you how to start adding your beads to the braid. Once you've got 1.5 centimeters of braid without any beads on it, you're ready to start adding your beads to your braid. So to do that, what you need to do is take all of the beads out of the bobbins, still leave the thread attached to the bobbins because that's what's going to stop the beads from falling off the end of your thread. So you need to take all of your threads out like I have here. Little handy tip I'm going to tell you about is whenever you need to pause your braiding, you need to stop to release your beads or to answer the phone or whatever, always stop with 3 threads on the top, because then you know that your next thread is always going to be this one on the right here that you're going to move down to the bottom. If you stop with 2 threads, either with the threads in sets of 2 around the disc, you might find it difficult to know where you're going next, what your next move is. Just you always leave it with 3 on the top, and then you know what your next move is. So I know my next move is this thread here on the right. So what I'm going to do is to take that thread, and as I take the thread down, I'm going to drop a bead down and tuck it underneath these 2 crossing threads there. And I'll let you have a look at that there. You see how the bead is just caught underneath this crossing thread here. It's just caught in place. And then I'm ready to turn, and I'm ready to move the next thread, which is the left thread. I'm going to drop a bead down, and I've just tucked it between these 2 threads here, like so. You can see it's just caught there. And then my next thread will be this one here. I'm going to just drop the bead down and tuck it under there. You see it's nice and securely caught. If your beads aren't caught in those crossing threads, then this won't work. So it's really important to tuck the bead underneath like that. You see it's tucked under there. Okay, I'm going to use my next one, this one here. So I'm going to do this wrong for you. Can you see that's wrong? Because that bead is just lying on the top there. It's not caught. So you've got to tuck it under and catch it under that crossing thread like so. And just keep braiding as you have before, each time just dropping a bead down and making sure it's tucked under that crossing thread. And you just keep on going until you have used up all of the beads. And when you've used up all of the beads, you are ready to do another 1.5 centimeters of braiding without any beads. Once you've braided with all of your beads and then done 1.5 centimeters of braid without any beads at the other end here, you need to do is take the zap gel glue, and you want to put a little bit of zap gel into the center of the braid here, and also some on the first end here, just around the bottom here. And I'm doing that so that when I take it off the disc and off the weight, it doesn't all come apart. So I've popped my glue on there, and I've given it a few moments to dry. So what I can do now is take my braid off my disc like so, and I am going to trim off these little ends here. I don't need those anymore. And then I'm also going to take it off the weight as well, the other end. And I'm just going to trim off any stray ends there. And I'm now ready to glue the end into the clasp. So I'm just going to check that that all fits nicely before I put any glue in there. And sometimes you do need to trim a few ends off just to neaten it up a little bit, but tends to go in quite well. Just like to check though before I add the glue. Yep, that's nice and neat. That goes in nicely there. So I'm going to take my zap gel glue, and I am going to pop a little bit of glue into that end of that clasp there. The nice thing about the zap gel glue is it is a gel, so it doesn't go everywhere, unlike super glue, which tends to be a bit runny really. And then I'm just going to pop my braid in there. If it doesn't go in straight away, it doesn't matter, because you've got a few moments to work with this glue before it really starts to set. In fact, the glue does actually take a full 24 hours to cure completely before it's ready for you to wear the bracelet. So don't be tempted to pop the bracelet on straight away, because it will take a little while to cure fully. And you just want to insert the end of your braid into the clasp like so, and then you want to do the same for the other end. So there we go, both of the ends of my bracelet are glued into my clasp there, and I'm all done. I just need to leave that now for 24 hours for the glue to cure before it's ready to wear, and then I'm all done. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.